Georgia game, a game that wasn't a very good game for us. Not very pleased on any side of the ball. Not good enough effort. Not good enough preparation. It was a game where it was most disappointing because we had the least amount of competitive plays all year. We just, on either side of the ball, if you just look at it in its entirety, we did not have a lot of good football plays in that game. And that's the first time you could say that all year. Even in some other games, I know sometimes if you just look at the bottom line and the score, there were a lot of positives in the games throughout this year, and a lot of good competitive plays that I felt like we were growing and getting better. This past game, I can't really say that. And that's what's so disappointing about it, very frustrating. It's unacceptable. So nobody likes to be around that, the coaches, the players. And so we've got to get that addressed, get it fixed, and move on to our next opponent. We have a big game coming up with Tennessee. It'll be our last game at home for these seniors. And we need to see where we're at and how much progress we've made throughout this year. I think we've been up and we've been down, and it'll be very important for us to come out and have a good week of preparation and play a great game versus Tennessee.
Mark, why do you think it was so uncompetitive? Why was it the least amount of good football plays all year? Could you sense it coming, or can you put your finger on it after the fact?
You could probably sense some of it coming. It just felt like it was, it was just, as the week went on, and as we had some suspensions, and it just felt like, wasn't our best week last week, But you never truly know. I mean, you feel like the guys traveled well. You feel like you're locked in and preparing in our meetings when we're on the road and all that, and then just go out there and just get off to a bad start, in all sides, and against a very good team, a team that offensively, give them credit. I mean, they're extremely good offensive football team. And, I think if you just look at them when they're healthy and the way they played, I mean, not a lot of teams have a lot of success against them defensively. I mean, they move the ball on everybody when they're healthy and they're good. You need to score some points and keep up with them and keep it a competitive game, and that's tough for us right now.
At what point in the week did these youngsters know when they were suspended?
I'm trying to think. I can't recall last week. Sometime in the middle of the week.
Will we see DeMarco again this season?
No.
Next season?
Yes. Provided he meets some requirements that we'll put on him.
Were the suspensions connected to one another, or were they separate incidents?
Separate.
Mark, you got one game left, but with that in mind, look back over the season and just hit some of the highlights and lowlights, and overall how satisfied you are.
Yeah, I think right now it's hard to look back right now. We're still in the middle of we got one game left, and it's a very important game. But obviously, after any loss, you sit there on Sunday and you grind through everything on your mind and what you're doing, what you need to look at, all the good things and all the bad things, and where we want to go as a program. I felt like, and I've told you that all along, certain games, and I feel like we're making progress. And I've told you when I felt like we were making progress, and I've told you when I felt like we were slipping back. This past Saturday, there's no denying it, that was a blow to our progress. And that's disappointing because it's a mentality to me more than anything. And so that we need to get over and bounce back and move forward. But throughout the year, I did think we were improving. I think we're getting better as a program, as an organization. I know we are. I think we're getting, doing a good job recruiting, and there's a lot of positive things. But I just think that the competitive nature which we played this past Saturday was not good enough, and that's tough for me to swallow.
Coach, with such a big blow to your progress, how important is it to bounce back Saturday?
I think it's very important this Saturday. I really, it'll show me a lot about the character of our team.
Mark, I don't mean this with disrespect. Do you think some of you guys quit on you Saturday?
That's a strong word, but we were, it was not acceptable play.
Mark, when you have a game that goes as badly as this.
I know if I had to be around that for a whole year, that'd be very difficult for me to be around.
When you have a game that, like I said, what's the key to bringing the team back? You know,
Well, I think, you know, we all gotta look at ourselves. It starts with me. I said that after the game. It starts with myself and you know, what I'm doing to prepare the team and to prepare the coaches. It goes on to the assistant coaches and goes on to the players. But I think a big part of it is your attitude. You know, we talk about that all the time. When you walk in that building, when you go to work, you gotta have an attitude about you and you gotta have a toughness about you. And, you know, we didn't play with it. So we're gonna challenge them to have that attitude today.
Mark, do you have a sense that this is just a bad hiccup, or do you have to wait till Saturday to find out?
Well, I don't anticipate that being, you know, any part of our program, you know, with any kind of consistency. So, we know you're not gonna play your best football all the time. No, not very few teams do. But you have to prepare with a tough mentality, like I just said, and you gotta go about your business the right way. And, we will make sure that that happens this week.
Nate,
Mark,
let's-
how's Jalen, and if unfortunately Jalen got hurt and Max got hurt, what were you gonna do and what will you do?
Yeah, I talked about it on the sideline. I asked Jim after Jalen was hurt, if Max went down, if we can go back to Jalen and just have him hand it off and try to get out of that game and reevaluate it. I did consider putting Reese in the game when Jalen got hurt, but that wouldn't have been a wise decision. You know, but emotionally, I was, you know, a little bit frustrated thinking about it. And part of me, you know, as I said earlier in other press conferences, that I would have liked to have seen Reese just to see where we were going, you know, what he had in the game. You know, you see it in practice and all those things, but again, that wouldn't have been a wise decision. So we were going with Max, and I wanted to go back to Jalen and hand the ball off to get out of that game, but if the doctors told me he could not go, then I wouldn't. I would have to play Reese.
So what is Jalen's
So.
status for this week, do you know?
We're working through that right now. Everything has checked out okay to this point. We've given him some very thorough exams. He's gotten an MRI, we've sent it to specialists, and we're checking everything seems fine at this point. So we'll see how he progresses through the week. There's nothing major wrong with him, you know, so hopefully he'll be able to play. If not, we'll prepare to play with Max.
It's AC joint in his left non-throwing shoulder, is that right?
That's part of it, that he has an AC joint, but that's not the main issue. He's got some spasms going on in his neck.
Okay.
You know, wide receivers have been effective playing quarterback against Tennessee.
Pardon me? I'm sorry, what's that?
Remember 2 years,
Yeah.
2 years ago when they phased the wide
Yeah,
receiver?
yeah.
Thought.
Yeah, well, all options are open to get a victory, believe me. Can you play it off? Yeah.
Forgive me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rick, was there anybody, I know in a situation like that, when people aren't playing their best, sometimes you do have some guys who, they don't let that rub off on them and they
Right.
play at their best. Was there anybody who kept on playing for you?
Deshaun's about the only guy I could really say that I thought played extremely hard for every play that he was in there. You know, nobody else, you know, there wasn't too many guys that played up to an acceptable level.
Mark, you've been pretty good this year at getting to the quarterback. You weren't able to do it obviously as much against Georgia. Was that just a nod to their offensive line, or were you guys?
I think it's a variety of reasons. They did a nice job of blocking us. They were one step ahead of us with the plan. You know, when we were bringing pressure, they hit some screens, got rid of it quick. They had us off balance, and that's a big part of it. So.
Are there players that you go to this week to rally, to re-rally, to get everybody back in line?
Yeah, there is, and yeah, there's some guys that I will individually talk to get them rallying, and I expect that we'll play well. I really do.
How much does a guy like Avery deserve to, maybe, for all he's sort of struggled through here and tried to keep this team together, deserve to get one?
he definitely is a guy that jumps out you right away to be a senior. He's talking about Avery and to get a victory there, but Avery's definitely a guy that you think about when you think about this group that has done an awful lot for this program. And since I've been here, he's been a great leader and a great person to coach. I'm going to miss him. It'll be very important for us to get to help him get a victory this last game along with all the seniors.
Mark, is there any communication when the D lineman see screen?
Yeah.
Like, is there any communication?
Yeah. The big thing with screens is this, with your D lineman. When we're playing straight, they can read it a lot better, which means when we're not moving and gaming and stunting and blitzing and all those things, they can feel it and read it very well at times. We were off balance last week. They caught us in 2 of them where we were moving, so they didn't have a good chance to feel it and get out. Yes, it's something we need to work on, you know, even with pressures and different things, just recognizing that. And that's where that's a defensive play. You know, where everybody on your defense has to feel that and rally to the ball. We didn't do a very good job of that. You know, that's a instinct and feel and awareness, and we were way off on a few of them.
What would it mean for your off-season program if you could bounce back this week and maybe even win, and have that to take into?
I think it's very important. I do. I think it's important. With that being said, I don't think that there's, you know, we're not going to let anything affect our progress in where we're going in this offseason.
Speaking of moving forward, you've had some, I think, 5 guys early enroll. Can you maybe talk about some of what those guys will do for your program?
Not at this time.
You can't at this time. Okay. Sorry.
Maybe at 3.
Mark?
Go to that present. Let cat out of the bag. It was a big surprise.
Nate Willis has dropped off your depth chart.
He got cleared to play last week, late in the week. He was he was just okay. You know, it's a knee injury. It's nothing major, but it's something that's aggravating him. And we've decided to go ahead and get that trimmed up this week. So he's going to go in and get operated on and get a few things cleaned up out of his knee. Nothing major. He'll be back in a few weeks.
Is that a scope, I guess?
Yes. Yeah.
Mark, you've talked about how much you admire the senior class, especially Avery. Can you describe the relationship you see that the younger guys have with those seniors, and how you feel like they're going to play this week for them?
Yeah, I think we do have a good group of seniors, and you know, even defensively, there's some more vocal senior leaders, and that's good to see. I think, you know, we've talked about it with Dante and Mister and Avery, and those guys really trying to lead our defense and play, you know, play well throughout the year. You know, so I think a lot of guys have respect for all of our seniors. You know, with that being said, I'll let you all know right now, because it'll be news throughout the week. There will be one senior that will not play this week, and that will be Raymond, and he will not be permitted to play this week.
Any reason for that?
Violation of team rules, and we were working through a couple things last week where you all heard, you know, you may or may not have heard this or that. I know I got some questions on them. We got some more information back today, and firmed up our decision with what I'm going to do with them on this Saturday.
Martin, will you still go through senior day festivities?
To be honest with you, I found out this information about an hour ago, so let me think through that a little bit, but I'll let you know tomorrow.
How disappointing is that to you?
It's very disappointing. I've sat in here and bragged on them, you know, throughout the year, and you know, that doesn't change my opinion of Raymond. I think he's a good person. I am disappointed in a few decisions that he made, but he's a good person. He was a good person for this program. You know, let's not let this define him. You know, I am disappointed. It's not acceptable. He will not play, but and that's really, you know, I want to say, but I don't want to get too much into detail about that. But Raymond's just suspended for this game. He's not kicked off the team or anything like that. He just can't play in this game.
You have a question whether or not maybe preparation and whether or not they're doing things the right way. Is that something that you
Oh, yeah, we always, will always preach that and talk about that. It's a big part of it. How you go about your business every day is, you know, I mean, it's the number one thing. You know, when you walk in that building, how focused you are, how you go about your workouts, how much you concentrate in meetings, how important it is to you, you know, how you travel, you know, the approach you take when you're getting on the bus to travel and getting on the plane and all those things. And, you know, we need to look at everything we're doing, and guys need to be locked in with what we're doing and have a tough mentality.
What does Tennessee look like to you on video?
Yeah, they're a team, I think, a lot like us in that they play some games playing extremely hard, trying to do anything they can to get a win. And they're a team that is getting better, and their program's moving forward that we all know. And I think, you know, similar to us in a lot of ways. And I think I respect the way they coach them and the way they're playing. And you see, probably a lot like us, you see signs, you know, all over the place of a team that's very close. And they've had some good wins, and they've had some tough losses.
Mark, your defense has seemed to have come along throughout the year. The offense kind of struggling. Talk about the trials and tribulations of building a defense versus building an offense, and why it's much easier.
Well, you know, it's interesting because if you look at just this past week, okay, we were, and you know me, I haven't all year. I'm not about to start now making any kind of excuses. But if you just look at some of the young guys that we started playing with this past week, with some corners going down, we tried to move guys around. Then Dixon was out the first half. We tried to move him into Ashley to free safety. And you know what? One problem creates another. And it's very difficult. And, you know, I get as aggravated as with anybody. Coach Brown will be here, you know, to talk about the offense. But you know what? It gives me a little sense of what they've been through, too. You know, when you're trying to, you know, play with some freshmen to make your plays, it's tough. And we're trying our best on all sides of the ball to piece together the best team we can to help us win a game. Sometimes we look good and we look like we're moving forward. Sometimes it doesn't look so good, as you all know. And that's tough and it's frustrating, but it's where we're at. We're you know, we know what we're in for, and we know where we're going and what we want to be. It's just part of the program where we're at this stage.
Do you feel like sometimes the whole season has been about trying to cover holes, and Saturday night, for whatever reason, you just couldn't cover them all, and the dam just burst on you?
It is. It's part of that. And then, you know, you're patching holes and you're trying to put the best guys out there. And then you're trying to do a lot of things to create plays. And, you know, defensively, different packages, all the things we did. Sometimes it's worked well, and I think we've grown, you know, as a coaches, and you always try to do that. I mean, I've told you all those things all the time, but I think we're getting better. But I think it was a case where this past week it didn't, and it hurts with, again, no excuse, but you got guys in different spots, and then you're trying to do things, and we're all messed up. You know, and that's not good. So the floodgates did open at times with us trying to press and do too much, and mental errors, and guys in different positions, and that's not a good thing. And I think, you know, that's part of the very frustrating thing for us offensively really all year. You know, it's tough to move the ball against people in this league when you're patchworking things.
Mark,
We'll talk about-
you know, your brother had a great accomplishment this past weekend. Have
Yeah.
you talked to him about it? What do you think? What did he say?
Yeah, I have talked to him and congratulated him, and I told him that he has 158, and I can't get 3. So, you know, I don't care what anybody says, it's a great accomplishment. Very proud of him. You know, he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't really talk about it too much or anything like that, but we're very proud of him.
Folks, thank you very much, Coach. We'll catch you, Coach Stoops.